to yesterday's testimony, you had mentioned that your only interaction with issues to deal with the commission was this interaction that we just spoke of. Do you remember having any other interaction with the Jammeh Commission or its work?
This is the one I'm aware of. That is, I had that interaction with the executive secretary.
Okay, so let's skip to the submission of the report by the commission. What role did you play, if any, upon submission of the report?
A report of the Jammeh Commission?
Of the commission, yes.
Thereafter, they developed the white paper. When the white paper is developed by the Ministry of Justice, it is presented at the cabinet. And this is a legal document. On the day, like I mentioned yesterday, it is restricted. The distribution is restricted. And I have to declare in the cabinet whether there is any cabinet minister who is affected by this white paper or by the Jammeh Commission. And it happens that Minister X then of Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs had to leave the cabinet at the time, not to attend because was adversely mentioned at the Jammeh Commission.
So after the report was submitted by the commission, the Ministry of Justice then would come with a cabinet paper.
No, not cabinet paper, white paper.
Yes, but my understanding is that the white paper is the product of cabinet.
No, white paper is developed by the Ministry of Justice. This is legal document based on this, because it's about 9 volumes of the Jammeh Commission.
No, I understand that, but okay, let's take it step by step. And I want you to wear your administrative hat here. The white paper is, what is it generally, what's a white paper?
The white paper is the decision of the cabinet, but this is done in consultation.
I understand. Let's take it step by step.
Okay.
From when it emanated from the Ministry of Justice, it is not...
The volumes have been summarized. This is what is contained in what we call government white paper, and it is gazetted.
I need us to be clear on something. Is it summary of the reports that you're talking about, or white paper?
That is what we call white paper, because we cannot discuss all the 9 volumes in the cabinet. That is why the Ministry of Justice will develop the white paper and present that one at the cabinet. That's the presentation I'm trying to put to you.
So when it's presented, in what format is it? Is it in a cabinet paper format?
The white paper is a little bit voluminous, not up to this point.
We have submissions of the white paper.
Okay.
But my question is, how is it laid? Is it laid as a white paper by me?
It is on the white paper. And in this case, I will inform the chairman of the cabinet to give the go-ahead. That particular day, only white paper will be the agenda discussion for the cabinet.
Well, I've learned something today. Okay. Mr. Teacher.
And
sorry, go ahead.
In the white paper, those who were adversely mentioned is the decision of the cabinet based on the advice from the Minister of Justice, whether the president can exonerate them or they remain, like the white paper indicates, some people should not work for 10 years or 5 years, depending on the level of their involvement in the former regime. Thank you, Council.
Okay. So I've actually learned something today, and that is that the white paper emanates from ministries.
Ministry of Justice, they will do the summary of the 9 volumes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would have thought that the ministry would make a proposal which would be dubbed as something else, and once it's agreed upon, that final product would be what would be referred to as the white paper. But nonetheless, thank you.
They'll make summary version and they lay that before the cabinet by the Minister of Justice, who is the legal advisor to the government.
So, you keep mentioning summary. When the minister brings it to cabinet, Does cabinet refer to that at that point that he's laying the proposal? Is the reference to that document as a white paper or
as white paper?
As white paper?
Yes, draft white paper. Until cabinet deliberate when it become the final white paper.
Okay.
Yes, they will make their summary at the ministry level.
So the commission then laid the report, and then several months after, the Ministry of Justice looked at the report
because of
and produced, because it's voluminous, they reduced it into a few.
Yes.
And brought it to...
That will be presented to the cabinet. And
presented it to cabinet. Cabinet debated over it.
Good, and I have to mention a day before cabinet or up to the cabinet meeting, where they, just like how boards operate, you serve at the board level. When you are having the board of directors meeting, when you have the agenda, they will pass it around for you to sign to avoid conflict of interest in corporate governance. Okay, in the board charter, whether the topic to be discussed, whether you have an interest in that particular one. So the case of white paper is like that, and any other issue. Even at the time when we were working on the issue of the presidency of Dr. Omar Toure to ECOWAS, the wife then was Secretary General. She has to leave the cabinet because that cannot be discussed in her presence. Yes.
Okay, that's quite good.
That's to avoid conflict of interest in corporate governance.
So the members of cabinet are required to disclose their respective interests.
Exactly. And one of them then, ex-Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, did not attend the meeting.
Okay, because of such conflict. Because it was lastly mentioned.
Mentioned, exactly.
Okay, so after that meeting, what were the conclusions?
The Minister of Justice will take note of that. This is legal matter. Cabinet Secretary preside over certain meetings, but you don't take note because the sensitivity of the matter.
So on this day you do not take note?
Just like the CRC review of the draft constitution. I only read out section 135, and then I will now say, Honorable Minister X of Justice then he will now explain that one when I read the section 137, and then he will explain, and then for the rest of the cabinet, because not all of us have the law background, then they now understand, and from common sense they can make their contributions. That is how cabinet operates.
And then on each issue there will be conclusions.
Yes.
But those conclusions are not captured by the Secretary.
No, the draft constitution is there, and Minister of Justice then will be making gettings, because Cabinet Secretary is not having law background.
Okay, so for those exercises, the Cabinet Secretary does not take notes?
We only moderate the sessions.
Okay.
And it took us almost 5 days. At one point we stayed until 4 a.m.
That's fine. I'm curious. This has nothing, so to speak, to do with what we're here today for, but I'm just curious. On those instances that the Secretary does not record cabinet minutes.
Because of the background.
Because the minister has the background.
The draft is already with the minister.
Yes, but the minister is taking record and is also the action officer to implement those conclusions, correct?
Any point that is raised by the members of cabinet,
they will be implemented by...
It's gathered by the minister, and they will go and clean up the material,
yes,
the white paper.
My question is, administratively, how would you know that the document is clean? What if the minister misses something? Is there another record you compare it to?
You can always, because it's not that. We want Mr. X, Y, Z, just like PRRC also.
Yes, but okay, I'll just make a statement. This one has nothing to do with...
No, it's
but
okay.
I believe that's why it's important for the Secretary to Cabinet to still record the conclusions of what transpired, so that the Secretary as the master or the custodian of records can also be following.
No, you are right. You are right. The laws of the land. So we will be the one to advise. So that's even there is something missed out in the session, he will read it out, and then we also have our gettings. But doesn't mean all the points that are stated are considered as raw materials.
Okay.
Now he will go back and incorporate that into the main text together with the team, and then do the cleanup and bring the cleaner version to the cabinet.
Okay, so once that was done, the cleaner version was done, and all those issues were consolidated, and the white paper became the actual white paper.
Then government will now take their decision when it is finally gazetted. Yes.
And gazette it. So after the gazettement, did you have any role to play?
No.
You don't recall anything that you did in
No, secretary to cabinet role is just to convene cabinet meeting. But what happened after that is at the level of the Minister of Justice and the Chief Executive of the land.
Do you remember signing letters of reprimand directed at individuals who were found to be adversely mentioned by the Commission?
Yes, that is when they are prepared by the Minister of Justice.
Those letters were prepared by the Ministry of Justice.
You can look at the content. That's not Cabinet Secretary's language. You are guided.
Okay. Let me ask you to guide me on one of those such letters. Please. Just give him this part.
Letter addressed to ex-Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs.
Okay, you don't need to look at it. Let's look at it together. What office do these letters emanate from?
This will come from the Secretary General. I signed for Secretary General.
It's the office of the President, correct?
Yes.
And who signed these documents?
Is the then Secretary to Cabinet on behalf of SG.
Who was the then Secretary to Cabinet?
Myself.
Okay. I thought you said that these letters were legal
Yes, it
issues,
is.
and they should be drafted.
The text is well guided.
Can I land?
Yes.
Did you ever work at the Ministry of Justice?
No.
But you wrote this letter?
No, this is a text that we receive and then we adopt it. That is what we call adaptation.
But you issued this letter? Any form of liability?
No,
because this is your signature.
Not to escape. I confirm it's my signature.
It is your signature?
Yes.
And you did it, who instructed you to do this?
Look at the byline here is the Secretary General and head.
For the record, who asked you to?
The head of civil service, Secretary General and head of civil service.
Were the letters approved by cabinet?
This is.
So then
the next line of actions.
So you definitely did have a role to play after these letters.
Just like how I did other activities. This is directly from the superior's point of view.
From the Secretary General. And who was the Secretary General at that, on the 19th of September 2019?
That is Mr. Habib Darami.
He was still the Secretary General?
No. It changed over time. He became Gambia
at that time?
Yeah, at that time he was the Secretary General.
Okay. Secretary, if I could get those documents back so that we don't misplace. So after the commission had submitted and the white paper was developed, the commission set up a committee, the cabinet rather, set up a committee, correct?
What committee?
A ministerial committee.
Yes, Ministerial Task Force Committee.
Yes.
Yes.
And that committee was created by cabinet, correct?
Exactly.
Can you explain to this committee how cabinet creates committees, who they report to, the interval of reporting, and what authority those committees have? Just in general.
You can have presidential task force and you can have interministerial task force. These are two different terms you have in cabinet level. This one was the interministerial task force. You may see ministers were selected based on their relevance. That you can see the Minister of Justice is there, Minister of Tourism and Culture, because of the TDAs, tourism development areas lands were part of the assets that were recovered. And then you have Minister of Lands, then you have Minister of Agriculture, and the office of the President was represented by Secretary General and Head of the Civil Service. So they will decide where to meet.
But again, the Head of the Civil Service was also part of the...
Yes.
And who was the Head of the Civil Service at the time?
Mohammed B.S. Jallo, the current Vice President.
At that time, was it fused with the role of the Secretary General?
This was 18th of November last year when the SC and SG role were fused.
You know, Mr. Ceesay, one thing I love about you is on some issues, you remember exactly what happened. On other issues, you don't even remember.
But it takes some time. Issues are too much.
That's fine. That's fine. Let's move on. So the Ministerial Committee,
yes.
How often did they report back to Cabinet?
Based on their assignment, because this is a legal matter, they will be guided by the Minister of Justice. It can be given 2 weeks interval to do the assignment, or sometimes 1 month. Based on
so committees of Cabinet, once they are operational, they don't have ad hoc reporting to Cabinet. They just wait until they finish their mandate and then...
No, they are not left like that. They are given a specific timeline.
It's only after that timeline lapses that you report back.
Before that, some can finish the assignment, but at least we believe they need to do some findings. Okay? Like in my submission on the 11th, I mentioned the issue of Hippo's attack on rice fields in CRR North. So when Cabinet Subcommittee is set up, including Ministry of Climate Change, Natural Resources, Lands, Ministry of Defense, then they need to identify a place, agriculture, where they can meet to rescue those women rice growers or women farmers.
That's so. Yes. That's fine. I want us to make progress so that we can allow the high table to weigh in as well.
All right. Thank you.
When the committee was set up, how was it set up?
That is what I explained earlier, based on the relevance of this.
I understand the composition.
Good.
What I mean is, was it set up by a conclusion of Cabinet, or was it a motion, or how was it set up? And was there a TOR for it? How was that developed?
What I remember is the advice from the Minister of Justice at the time. That's what I can remember. But there may be other points.
Who would spell out? Would Cabinet then spell out that, you mentioned that Cabinet would spell out the timeline, report within 2 weeks. Would Cabinet then report, would also outline the powers that they have? Can they sell? Can they allocate? What can the minister, what advise the mandate or TOR of the Ministerial Committee?
The Ministerial Committee will make their recommendations and present to the Cabinet. So it's the collective decision of the Cabinet. Yes.
Okay, I see. So then the Ministerial Committee was basically to
as an advisory body.
They could not dispose of any assets.
No, they will have to identify
and then come back to
make their recommendations and present that to the care of the committee.
All right. So the Ministerial Committee also had a committee under it, correct?
Those should be the technicians.
Technical committee.
Yeah, those are the permanent secretaries.
Exactly. Was that under the Ministerial Committee, or was it a committee of Cabinet as well?
No, the permanent secretaries don't sit in Cabinet.
Okay.
They will need to support their superiors, their ministers.
So then it was an offshoot of that, the Cabinet's committee.
Yes, because ministers may not have that time and then findings or research. So permanent secretaries, they will do the step down of what was discussed at the Cabinet, so that their technicians, those are the permanent secretaries, will now, inform their team also, their deputy permanent secretary, director of lands, physical planning, and so on, that we need to look at all these matters, and then this is what we are supposed to do. So their next meeting, the Minister for Lands can now do the presentation, and then this is what will be compiled from the Minister of Lands.
Okay, so the understanding is that the technical committee was just to help the Ministerial Committee, and they report to the Ministerial Committee.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. It's been a pleasure, Mr. Ceesay.
Thank you.
Chair, I would hand the baton to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Council. Thank you, Mr. Ceesay.
Thank you, VC.
Now it will be the turn of the members of this honorable committee to ask questions for clarifications and other issues. So I would invite honorable members who have questions for clarity.
Yes, thank you very much, Chair, and thank you very much, Council, and His Excellency Ceesay. Now, I just need a quick clarification on the request to stop the sale of tractors from the Office of the President. Was this as a result of public outcry, or was it as a result of, because we have a farming community and most of the tractors were in the up country? Was it as a result of that, or what was the rationale in stopping the sale of tractors? Even though I clearly understand earlier that the commission may have gone very far on their mandate because they're quasi institutions. So they may, yeah, exactly, yeah, exactly, yeah. So what was the rationale at the time? Was it a lot of pressure from the public, or was it from the cabinet itself, or what was the rationale for them to make the request to stop the sale at the time?
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chair and members. Thank you, Honorable Alagimbo. In response to your statement, this is very straightforward. Is the cries from the public that these tractors, like I mentioned earlier to the council, some of these tractors do not belong to the former president. So they were all collected by the commission then. So individuals can go to the commission and claim if you have your authentic documents. But it was also the concern at the time that cabinet raised the concern that this commission that is having the quasi decision-making body, decision-making, should not dispose the tractors, because Minister X, responsible for agriculture at the time, also stated that at the cabinet, these tractors can be managed. They have their mixed farming centers in all the regions, that they can set up what he then referred to, the minister then referred to as management committee, so that they can be able to manage these tractors, even though they may be considered as assets of the former president, Excellency Jammeh, that the tractors should not all be sold out, because once they are sold out, farmers will not benefit from it. That was my understanding at the time of the cabinet. In case the answer is not enough, I'm still available. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mr. Ceesay.
Yes, Honorable.
On the 10th of July, 2018, you did sign on behalf of the former Secretary General a letter to Mr. Alaji Kura, who was the Executive Secretary to the Jammeh Commission.
Yes, indeed, as I stated, based on the directives of the Secretary General, as I had the conversation with the lead counsel, based on the organogram at the Office of the President, Cabinet Secretary is on the SG. So he gave me the instruction to sign.
So my question is, were you aware of any plans for his immediate replacement?
I'm not aware of that one. Until later, I know that someone is there as Assistant Secretary.
Yes, you know.
In the person of Mrs. Ramatullah Sar.
Yes, the position of the Assistant Secretary is different from that of the Secretary.
It's the lead one.
When it comes to the Secretary, as per the provisions of the Constitution, it is only the President who have the prerogative, the right to appoint a Secretary. So what I want to ask is, during that time, was there any moment that the former Attorney General make an advice for the Executive Secretary to be replaced, or a substantive holder to be appointed?
No, that's not to my knowledge. That will be at the level of the former AG and that of the President and SG. We only wait for instruction from SG.
With regards to Ramatullah Sar, what did you...
The happenings at the Jammeh Commission and other TGs, other transitional justice systems.
So it is your submission that as at the time of relieving Mr. Mamadi Kura, there was no immediate replacement for him?
That's my understanding at the time. There was no immediate replacement.
And you can't confirm whether the then Attorney General did make advice for his replacement?
That is what I stated, Honorable, that will be at the level of the minister and the president when decision was made, and can be communicated at the level of Secretary General and head of the civil service, not secretary to the cabinet.
Because what this committee have learned is that Ramatullah Sar was instructed to go.
Yeah, when she made the testimony.
On the authority of the then Attorney General.
Exactly.
And if you look at the letter that was given to Ramatullah Sar, it was not an appointment letter. It was just an instruction, not even directed to her. So we want to know why the position of the executive secretary was vacant.
Secretary of the cabinet is not in position to know that one. That's not my mind.
And you never had any discussions with the Secretary General with regards to that?
No, that is at the level of SG and the AG then. Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. Mr. Ceesay, I have a question.
All right.
The question is, after the directive that led to the sacking of the former Secretary of the Commission, Mamadi Kura, and the halting of the sales of the tractors. Do you still stand by your submission that the Commission had no executive interference?
Seemingly, it can be qualified that there has been some interference if others be it outside like that. But in the cabinet conclusion, as I read here this afternoon, the Commission is a quasi-decision-making body. That should qualify your point, that it is not totally independent. It's a quasi-decision-making body, Honorable Vice Chair.
Okay. So if I go by your answer, for an outsider, it's an interference.
Yes, but within?
Within, it's no interference.
Based on the content here.
Okay, thank you. The committee will take that up. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have. Council, do you have any questions for clarifications?
No, I don't have any questions. I have exhausted my questions.
Before we adjourn, are we sitting tomorrow?
No, there's no sitting tomorrow, unless the chair wants to bring us.
No, not at all.
Yeah. But I would...
Anyway, then at this point, the meeting is adjourned until Monday the 25th at 11 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.